more thing I'd like to touch on in this game would be the pagan aspect of this game. You might be a Christian and you might consider this a game that you would not play, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. But a lot of Christians play Dungeons and Dragons, by the way. But on a side note, Risk Godstorm does utilize the god of death. You got the Norse gods, the Celtic gods, the Egyptians, and so forth. So should Christians play this kind of game? And my answer would be yes. I think you should. Because, the pagan world was a real world back then. And Christianity ultimately vanquished the pagan gods. All of the pagan gods, in fact. And starting in Israel, or Phoenicia in this game, and spreading into the Roman world, and eventually into the more northern parts of the pagan world. And, as a Christian, it shouldn't bother you to play this game. It does utilize faith tokens. And, it's not a bad primer on learning about the pagan gods of the past. Now, it doesn't go into detail about each of the pagan gods and their religion. They were pretty vicious, those pagan gods. I mean, it was the sacrifice of children, the killing of people on a regular basis to propitiate the gods. And therefore, it was a good thing that Christianity came around, And for a while there, Christians themselves were persecuted by the pagans throughout the Roman Empire for a couple hundred years. And they were viciously killed, and Christianity went underground. And then one day came a certain general by the name of Constantine, who, when upon entering Rome, the Eternal City, he put his finger into the air and said, I need to get the Roman people on my side, and I have a feeling that a lot of them are Christians. And therefore, as a pagan, he basically endorsed the Christian religion to get the Roman people on his side, or at least the people of Rome. And so thus started the end of the pagan world with Constantine. And if it makes you feel any better as a Christian, Jesus Christ did vanquish the pagan gods. And he is known as the God of gods, in fact, in the Bible. So, as a Christian, I don't think it should bother you that you should play a game like this, or play a game like this, especially when it says Risk Godstorm. Don't let the name fool you, and don't let it bother you. You should have enough faith and enough Bible doctrine to know that you will not fall away and become a pagan just because you're playing Risk Godstorm. And I think you should play it as much as you can. Thank you. And I might add, history is not over. The pagan gods disappeared, and but Christianity is still around, and so is Judaism, so is Islam, and so this is still an instructive game in that sense, and the end of history has not occurred, just as Francis Fukuyama once wrote way back at the end of the Cold War, and Samuel P. Huntington then added The Clash of Civilizations in 1993, and 8 years later then you had 9/11, and you indeed had The Clash of Civilizations. So the end of history has not occurred. Christianity is a religion from the realm of antiquity. It is not a medieval religion, even though it was basically prime in the medieval world, meaning that it dominated the medieval European world. But it is a religion from antiquity. And unlike Islam, which is a medieval religion, and because they came around about the 600s or 700s, which was the beginning of the medieval world. So, again, I think you should consider Risk of Godstorm. If you are a Christian, do not be offended by it. And just have fun with it. And in the end, Jesus Christ wins.